Okay, guys. Hey, welcome to the call. Today's You List, You Last. It's the certified real estate advisor course, Bob Mangold's course. I will be your instructor today. So let's just get right into it. Who am I? My name is Robert Weichelt. I'm a HOMEBOSS member, and a little bit about me is I'm 37 years in the real estate business. I'm a national trainer, coach, and mentor. I have the 14-day home offer platform. I am an online offers expert. I've sold hundreds and hundreds of these homes throughout my career, and I'm a success certified trainer. Not that that means much, but it's just that these are just some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you. Some of the knowledge I'll be sharing with you are actually I'm in the trenches with you. So this is going to be a great class. But I always like to start off with Jim Rohn. He's one of my favorite. I tell you, Bob and I both love Jim Rohn in terms of his motivation and his positive attitude. Here's a couple of quotes: "For things to change, you must change." That's key. Think about that. If the market's starting to do some things that aren't quite in your control, you need to change. You need to see what's going on, make those in-flight adjustments. The other thing, the only way it gets better for you is when you get better. My brother and I always tease each other, and our only comment is just get better. And we have fun with that. And the last one that I really like is better is not something you wish for, it's something you become. So I always like to share those. I know these are some of Bob's favorite quotes, so I wanted to share those. But before we get started, we need to invest your time in your business. Invest this time, and let's close the door. Let's put down the emails. Let's put away the text, and let's put away the phone. Take some really good notes, because I think the market's changing, and I think we all know that we need to really dive in. And I really want to offer you some really good information. So one thing I want to tell you, I need you to relax. I need you to settle in, because there's nothing for sale today. We're not selling anything. So put your credit card and your wallet away. And matter of fact, put it in the desk drawer with your phone. Okay. So we're often asked, why are we teaching these classes? Robert, why do you do this? Bob gets asked all the time. We want to pay it forward. We want to help change the public's perception of our industry by teaching agents how to impact the financial outcome of results for every homeowner we work with. So you can never have too many agent contacts. We have contacts across the country, going to different seminars and conferences and just building relationships. A lot of people moving out of California, you're going to build the referrals across the country. That is really one of our mainstays of why we do this. But you can never, if you ever want to explore how to make more money working with us, we'll open that conversation up. That this is not we're not selling anything, but we want to make sure that we're adding value. Here's an interesting stat that I looked at. According to Gallup, here's what consumers think of us. They think very highly of nurses, medical doctors, pharmacists. But if you see down a little bit further where it's highlighted, real estate agents, they're not really highly thought at. We're down there with lawyers and Congress and telemarketers. So we need to change the perception of what we're doing. So here's what we're going to talk about. Here's what we're going to really drive home today is, do the names Stitzer and Burnett mean anything to you? Think about it. Do they mean anything to you? Well, I can tell you this. There's a lot of buzz going on right now. An attorney for Stitzer and Burnett home seller plaintiffs have a class action lawsuit that started this Monday. It started October 16th. They've already done depositions, and they're started the trial. Basically, look at this. In a sudden reversal, NAR says listing brokers can charge 0%. So if you're a buyer agent, listen up. How are you going to get compensated if the listing and the seller is not offering any compensation? That's a big deal. That is a very big deal that we need to pay attention to. And so hopefully our goal is to outline those very things. How will you handle this? How are you going to handle the fact that, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, thank you for working with me. You see that perfect home you like? The seller's not offering any compensation like they used to. So you, the buyer, are going to be on the hook not only for your down payment and your closing cost, but to pay me as your agent. That's a different conversation. Now, I don't know how good you are, but I'd have a tough time convincing that buyer to pay their down payment, which they've saved up and probably borrowed from family. They have their closing costs, and now they have to pay my compensation on top of it. Why wouldn't they just go right to the listing agent? So you think it can't happen? Well, watch this. Look at your MLS. Here's an example. BAC, I've circled it in red, 0. There's 0% commission. How are you going to get compensated? Bright MLS breaks with NAR policy on commissions. There's a lot of talk about these things happening in our industry, and it's getting even worse. And starting August 9th, this just started, the MLS is offering 0% commissions, whereas before you had to put at least some kind of compensation. Very rarely would you see 1%, but you're starting to see 2.5, then 2, then 1.5, then 1, now 0. Think about it. How are you going to be compensated? Bottom line, it's getting worse, and you need to really pay attention to it. So my question, are you paying attention to what's happening? Do you have a buyer broker agreement that allows you to be compensated when you're showing homes? Do you know that 38% of all listings in Southern California are offering 1.5% or less in commission? So it's a commission compression. So you need to really kind of pay attention to this. And have you ever wondered, why would they pay commissions to a buyer agent whose legal responsibility is to negotiate the best price and terms for their buyer? So the seller is paying that buyer agent, the very same agent that's job is to negotiate against the seller, which is money directly deducted from the seller's cash and proceeds. So the sellers are saying, we're done with it. We're not doing that anymore. Do you think the sellers would be open to a better way to keep more money in their pocket? You bet they would. Now, here's the thing. Look, you're going to see lots of talk about this. You're going to see it on every single real estate publication, whether it be Inman, whether it be Housing Wire, you name it, they're going to see it. All the big companies are starting to settle these lawsuits. Basically, it's all but admission of guilt. But the thing is, you need to know what's going on. So when you have a seller that is educated, you can actually speak to them. I mean, it's a very big deal. RE/MAX just settled a $55 million lawsuit based on their commissions. It's just all over. So pay attention to Inman, Housing Wire. They're all over. So pay attention to it. Don't be caught off guard. NAR slams DOJ for their effort to resume commission investigations. There's lots of things going on. So enough about this, but my point is, how are you going to deal with it? It's all over the place. So the question is, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. We've been talking for years. Well, what if it happens? It's happening now. What do you plan on doing about it? Will this be you? And this slide, I just think about this. Sometimes we feel like we're just hanging on, but we have planned it out exactly what our survival plan will look like. Buyer agent compensations will be eliminated. If sellers and listing agents, it's up to them, they're going to eliminate those commissions and leave it to the buyer agent. More importantly, what's your plan to thrive? So let's get right into it. Why are we doing this class? Who's going to benefit? Well, I'll tell you, agents looking for a solution to this new reality, because that's what it is. Agents looking to pivot their business to listings only. If you know me, you're going to know that I'm a listing agent. There's 3 types of agents. There's a buyer agent, a listing agent, and a hybrid agent. I have made the decision to be a listing agent. We're going to talk about how important that is here in a minute. Listing agents look forward to staying on top of it, taking more listings. They must take more listings. Implementers looking to build the recession-proof business. This is who this class will benefit. Team leaders are basically agents looking to leverage listings to build a team. So let's recap. Agents looking for a solution, agents looking to pivot, listing agents looking to stay ahead and take more listings, and of course, implementers to build a recession-proof business. Team leaders and agents to leverage. And this is a great way to grow your team. So fact is, The most profitable and efficient real estate business any agent can create is to carry at least 10 listings. That means having 10 active listings every single day of the year. One closes, you need to refill that listing. So we're going to go into it. You need the proof. Think about this. Think about the top agents in your office. Think about the top agents in your market. I can almost guarantee those agents are listing agents. At least the top GCI earners are listing agents. Okay. Real estate is easy, right? When you simplify it, when you focus like a laser, it's easy. Now, let me ask you a question. Which lead would you rather have? A Facebook lead can get costly. Sometimes most of us don't even know how to use Facebook leads, right? Zillow becomes very expensive. I just saw an article yesterday. Their referral fees are like 40%. They're moving on up to 55%, and it's expensive. Or would you rather have a seller that has their hand up, that's ready, willing, and able to sell their home? Well, I tell you what, number 3 is my choice. Today, we're going to talk about Bob's 4-step formula that he's outlined in his If You List, You Last upcoming book. Bob is my mentor, and I'm so grateful today to be able to share his teaching, his tools to help you become a proficient listing agent. Bob's been in this business a long time, 32 years as a lender, 24 years as a top producing realtor. He's built the fastest growing exit realty franchise in their history, and he owned the brokerage for 9 years. He's built a $600 million per year mortgage brokerage. Those are big numbers. I mean, his accolades go on. And one of the more impressive accolades that I look at is Bob manages a team of over 1,000 agents and mortgage professionals around the United States, 44 states, 5 countries, and has closed $2.5 billion in transactions so far this year. So let's go into the simple 4-step formula. You ready to go? Do you have your pen? You have your paper? Let's do this. You ready? Number 1, who will you talk to? Where will you find them? What will you say, and why hire you? Who, where, what, why? It's very simple. Let's keep it simple, okay, guys? Let me tell you my story real quick, and then we'll get on to this. I've been in the business a long time, 37 years in the business, and I was an REO broker primarily in the early 80s. Reared its ugly head again in the 90s, and then in the early 2000s, and it certainly will be here again. But I was an REO broker. When that market starts to dry up, you need to transition in working with sellers, FSBOs, expired, canceled. When I first met Bob, going on 5 years now, it changed my business. I never really had a unique selling proposition to talk to for sale by owners, to expireds and cancels. I was just like every other agent. So Bob introduced me to the HOMEBOSS platform, which I'm going to explain to you today, that changed my business, allowed me to take 2 to 3 listings per week by talking to FSBOs, expired, and canceled. And I'm going to share that story with you today. So let's dive in. You guys ready to go? The question that we have, and this is what sellers are thinking, why would we hire you? Sellers have options. They can choose any agent. What are you doing to stand out? Because standing out is everything. They need to know that you're different, that you're going to, why would we work with you? Okay. So what do sellers really want? Let's go over that. They want the highest net price. There's no argument there. They want to go under contract fast. And they want the minimum hassles and headaches. Guys, look, they want the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability, hassle, and expenses. Unless I left something out, I don't think there's anything else. So let's talk about the sellers. They have options. They can sell their own home. They don't need us agents, especially when the market, the inventory is down. They can hire a traditional agent. They can hire a mega team. They can hire a discount broker. There's a lot of those coming around, right? And they can accept a cash offer. Do you know that 77% on a survey, 77% of sellers probably or maybe would be willing to take a 5 to 10% less in their equity to avoid the hassle of a traditional sale? Well, we want to eliminate that altogether. Okay. So we need to know what your unique selling proposition is, your USP. Let me tell you what our mission is. Our mission is to help clients build personal wealth utilizing their personal residence. So our main objection when selling your home is to protect your equity with no hassle, the process to achieve the highest market value guaranteed in only 14 days, paying half of the total commission so you net the absolute most amount of money at closing. Think about that. Highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability. That is our mission to our sellers. Then with their new home, because most sellers that we work with are looking to take that equity and go buy a new home. Then with their new home, we will help you recover their entire cost of the home, including your mortgage, your interest payments, your property taxes at the end of 30 years. This provides a net zero cost on their next home. And I can't wait to share how that we do that with you. So HOMEBOSS is the way to market, sell, and negotiate the sale of homes. This is the HOMEBOSS listing system. Let me introduce it to you. HOMEBOSS is a proprietary, 100% transparent online exchange with trademarked sales process designed to sell real estate without the typical hassles and headaches of a traditional sale. Transparent offers. Are you kidding me? That is fantastic. Buyers love that. This is much better than a traditional sale. In order to obtain the highest market value, remember that's the goal. The most importantly, the net to the seller, more money in their pocket at closing, paying only the listing and marketing agent. Let me repeat that. The sellers are only needing to pay for their listing agent, their agent. The buyer can pay for their own agent. In a traditional listing, the seller pays anywhere between 5 and 6% commission. With HOMEBOSS, total out-of-pocket commission to the seller, 3%. That's a big deal. So first, let me tell you, set the foundation, if I will. What do you need to create a different way to list, market, and sell homes? We had to solve 4 critical obstacles. Here they are. We could compete with speed and confidence of cash buyers. That's key. We could overcome discounters and keep our 3 to 4% commission. We don't discount. Just so we're clear, we're not discount brokers. That's not how it works. Okay. We comply with the DOJ and the courts because that's going to be a big deal. Okay. It already is starting to be a big deal. But the biggest thing is somebody just getting into the business. If you're brand new in this business, sellers are not asking how long you've been in the business. No, how are you going to get me the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability, hassle, and expense? So if you're brand new in this business or you're a buyer agent, you can transition to a listing agent right now and have massive success with this platform. Now, let me give you an example. I'm a big fan of convenience. Now, one thing that the whole pandemic taught us is use the systems in place. This is a picture of me in Cabo. I took 4 listings sitting right there at that beach while I was in Cabo from my laptop. 4 listings. Could you do that? That's how this platform is so powerful. But here's the thing. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The biggest objection is commission. So we need solutions. And what are those solutions? Well, we finally came up with the answer. If you're familiar with HUD, VA, USDA foreclosures, they all use an online offers platform to sell their homes for the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability, right? Here's what it is. The HOMEBOSS works exactly like HUD. Selling your home, HOMEBOSS is the easiest and most lucrative way to sell. Watch this. In HOMEBOSS system, the buyers pay the commission just like they do on HUD and VA. Okay. Now, the exact same process, only our platform is fully transparent. If you've sold a HUD home or VA, the offers are not transparent. Our offers are, and I'm going to show you some examples. This is a home that I sold just a few months ago. I've sold hundreds of these, and you can go to my website and check it out. But let's look at how the process works. You can see there were 17 offers on this property. The last offer was 722. The current offer was 725. Do you see where it says agent compensation? That's where the buyer has the opportunity to pay for their own buyer agent. Seller sees that. The seller's net is the current offer. Then the buyer adds the compensation, the 21,765 in this case, for a total purchase price of 747,265. One thing that needs to be reminded: who pays the commissions in a real estate transaction? Everybody always says the seller does, but I can tell you it's the buyer. The seller pays it with the buyer's money. So we're just being transparent, not only with the offers, but with the agent compensation. This is how we have the buyers pay and the sellers see that, and everybody wins. So you can see it's an online offers platform, but here, watch this. This is the best part. Watch this. See right here. Let's see. Let me go to the next. Okay, here it is. Okay, so you'll see this seller wanted $675 for his home. The offers are all transparent. You can see Ellen and Frederick, then Alex and Alejandra, and so on. You can see the bids. Sometimes they come in at 3,000. Sometimes they come in at 12. Sometimes they come in at 29,000. This particular seller, his goal price was $675. He got $665 and then calls me up. Oh my God, Robert, let's take that offer. Like a typical seller would. They see the offer. They want to take that offer. And I said, listen, this guy's name was Chuck, wonderful human being. Chuck, let the process work. We still have a couple more days. Let's let this process work. So fast forward, the next day, we got a 703 offer. As you can see, I circled it right here. We got a 703 offer. He's like, oh my God, I got to take it. Let's please take it. I don't want to lose this offer. Typical seller, right? I said, Chuck, we still have a little bit more time. Let's let the buyers transparently compete against each other. Look at this. At the end, the seller ended up getting $725,500. That's $75,000 more than the seller originally wanted. Do you think your sellers would be excited by that? Because of the transparency, the buyers got a chance to compete in an open, transparent forum. And that says right here, and it says right in our terms and conditions, the transparent agent compensation, 3% built into the purchase price. The agent compensation will be added to the top of the winning offer, which shall establish a final sales price. Here's how it works. Final offer plus agent compensation equals contract price. This is the number that the lender and the appraisers worked from. Before, that's how it always has worked, but it wasn't transparent. We just brought the transparency to it. Now, does this really work for sellers? Let me tell you this. You can go to my website at 14-Day Home Offers and check it out. Here's some examples. These are some samples that Bob and his team have done in Arizona. This one right here is 8 days on Zillow, 10,000 views, 487 saves. Versus the competition right down the street, Model Match, 12 days on the market. They only had 2,000 views and 110 saves. If you know anything about Zillow and their saves are a big thing. Views, more eyes equals more offers. Their results are 309. Our results were 350 for the same exact home. We've got stories to share with you. This one started at 450, sold for 617. This one right here, it came in an appraisal at 570. But just like any other transaction, a lot of people say, what if it doesn't appraise? It's a negotiable. And typically what we like to do is add for proof of funds. Proof of funds are key. So they can, a lot of times, this case, the buyer came in and paid the difference. So you have that same problem. It's a good problem to have. Now let's go over why HOMEBOSS works. This is the DUST formula. DUST, demand, that's pricing and marketing. Urgency, setting deadlines. Scarcity, limited access to the properties. Transparency, all offers are visible. So let's go into demand. The demand, the inventory is low. So there's going to be a bigger demand. There's more buyers out there than properties. The urgency, we set deadlines. We only allow them to see it Saturday and Sunday, and then we give them 3 days to place their offers. Scarcity means limited access, so they can't see it just randomly. They have to come at a certain time. And the transparency allows buyers to compete. And when buyers compete, sellers win. Okay, so here's the HOMEBOSS process. Home price to drive traffic. Number one, we drive tons of traffic, and I'll show you exactly how we do that in a second. We implement our marketing blitz for 10 days, 10 days of marketing before the Saturday and Sunday open house. We do a 2-day open house. There's no lock boxes on our properties, no showings before, except for the open house. And then we do an online offer period of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday by 7. Now, here's why we price our properties the way we do. If you price it at market value, you get about 60% of the traffic. But if you price it at 15% below, you're going to get 90% of the buying population to come to your home. The science of pricing is a big deal. Let me show you an example. Here's a couple listings. 9 days before the open house, you had 8,100 views, 785 saves. And this happens every time. Here's another one. 9 days, 12,000 views, almost 13,000 views, and almost 800 saves. We need to drive traffic to the properties. That's the first and foremost thing. Because at the end of the day, think about this. Which property, this is the same home, which one would drive more buyers? Of course, the 675 will. That's our number one goal, is to drive massive traffic to our open house. That's the number one goal. Because at the end of the day, our goal is marketing and getting as many prospective buyers to come tour the listing. That's really the number one goal, because when buyers compete, sellers win. That makes sense, right? It's a simple math question. Here's some examples. We had Kathy Ryan had a great property for us. She got hundreds of buyers. Look at that line down the street. The police showed up. So it was a big deal. But here, let me give you an example. I had the record, 586 people in one weekend open house. That's a lot of people. People think, oh my God, that's crazy. Well, my record got shattered by Jerry and his daughter, 742 attendees in one open house. Then Kathy had 500 people come on a Saturday, and I think for a total of 884 people, but that was short-lived. Jerry and Alexis had 1,224 attendees in one open house. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I don't know about you, but if you have that many people in there, you're going to definitely get some good business. Free buyer and listing leads. Here's some photos. You got to take photos. This line was literally around the block. So let me give you an example why we want to do the HOMEBOSS platform and how it helps our agents build wealth. So let's talk about that. Number one, listings drive open house traffic, period. Okay. Plus, if you sell only 5-year listings, that's $56,000 a month, not counting the 25% referral fee that you're having your buyer agents pay for you. You get another $7,000 a month when you bring on agents to your team. You get 5 open houses and 5 buyer agents. That's $35,000 a month in overrides. I don't know about you, but not only are you getting listings, but you're getting overrides on your buyer traffic you're driving. So it's a big deal. And when you bring those agents on, you get $4,200 a month in referral fees every single month. So these are some big numbers, and it may not be realistic for most, but I tell you what, this is what's happening. Now, how do you convert the traffic? We help people buy, sell, and finance real estate through our team. They pay off their homes in 7 to 10 years. And most importantly, help them accumulate at least $1 million in cash. So there's lots of great ways, and we've got Marissa and Michelle can help you out with the Equity Max, their open house. It's a conversation starter. You know, if you could save $88,000 when you purchase this home, would you be able to at least have a conversation with that buyer? You bet you would. It's the Equity Max, and if you have any questions about that, we can certainly go over that. But there's amazing opportunities to save your buyers money. So what if you can offer this online class? Do you own a home and get government rebates to pay off your home in 10 years? But those are the conversation starters. We get a lot of buyers into our open houses, but most buyer agents don't know what to talk to. They don't know how to talk to the buyers when they're there. They say, oh, you want to see the house? There's the kitchen, there's the bath. No, if I could show you a way to pay off your home in 10 years, now you have their attention. So let's think about that for a second, right? It also works for flippers. The flippers love this. We just listed 2 homes just not too long ago where the agent, it was his own home. He was a flipper. He was licensed, active agent, but he used us to sell and market his home. We ended up getting him much more money than he would have ever done for himself. And as a matter of fact, we had a flipper. He turned 19 homes in Albuquerque by using this very platform. So this is why you want to focus on listings. So let's talk about why you want to focus on listings only. That buyer traffic, let me give you an example of one of our agents that just did. They had 19 pre-approved buyers without an agent. It's a big deal. More and more buyers are starting to come to the open houses without their agent. 6 people who needed to sell their homes in the neighbors. Sellers are coming to the open houses. A lot of times sellers are coming just because they want to know what the heck is going on. There's so many people there, but there's 31 total transactions available in this one open house we're talking about. Average sales price, $550. Think about if you can close just half of those and make $16,000 in commission. That's $247,000 in commission. If you close 20, you get $330,000. I don't know many people that have a closing ratio where more than half, but look at the opportunity. Now, does it work for agents? You bet it does. Watch this. One of our agents, a high-end luxury agent, listed a home. He started the price at 2.5, ended up selling for 4.9. By the way, he's adopted this platform in April. He's taken 42 listings in 5 months, took 3 listings last week or this week per this message. This is huge. This is a big deal. See, Oscar here took 5 listings, had 85 buyers at his first open house. 4 listings in the first week, 4 listings last week. Norm here took 9 listings in 8 days using the HOMEBOSS text strategy. You don't even have to talk to people. Curtis took 7 listings in the first 23 days. Here's my favorite story, and I don't mean to rush out and talk about this, but my wife and I are starting in January because I do all of my listings via Zoom. We're heading out in that very motorhome, and we're going to go visit 10 states in as many months. We're going to go visit all of our team across the country, and we're going to help build, grow, and do the same thing. Remember, I took 4 listings from the beach in Cabo. So our goal is to help you do the same thing. Maximize your time. You don't need to drive an hour in traffic to spend an hour with an unmotivated seller only to go back another hour in traffic to get back to the office or your home. We eliminate that. I take a 3 to 5 minute listing appointment with the seller, and we qualify them. Make sure they're reasonable and motivated and realistic. I would much rather do that. And I get a lot of sellers thanking me for actually bringing that too. And yes, it'll work in your market. It even works in Brooklyn. So if you think about it, we went over a lot of stuff really quick, but my point is, if you want to take more listings, that's the name of the game. I have nothing wrong with being a buyer agent, but I can tell you, think about it. Working with buyers takes a lot of time. I talk to a lot of agents. Buyer agents I can sell 4 listings in the amount of time it takes an agent to sell 1 buyer, from showings, multiple properties, multiple offers, all of that. Be a listing agent. If you want to be a listing agent, you can certainly reach out to us and we'll help you out. But that's what we wanted to go over today. We appreciate you jumping on. I think the biggest thing is, I'm just curious, was this time well spent? I know we went through it really fast, and I want to make sure that if you want to be a listing agent, just reach out to us. Reach out to us and call us today. You can use this QR code if you want to reach out to me, or more importantly, reach out and talk about, see if HOMEBOSS is right for you. I can tell you this, it changed my business. So take this QR code, schedule a free consultation, there's no obligation, go check it out. See if it's something for you. So with that said, I know we went through it real quick, but I'm just super pumped. I'm excited that we got a chance to go through this. And with that said, let's go to questions. I'll open up the mic. If anyone has any questions, I'd certainly love that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and open up and talk, ask any questions, put it in the chat box if you like, and we'll go from there.